The O.J. Simpson car chase. Oh, if you missed this, if you were not around for this was quite the event. I've got 7 statements here, fact or fiction. Frank and Lan are going to have to guess whether or not that statement is fact or it is fiction. If you're enjoying this content, make sure that you're liking it, and if you could share it as well, that'd be great. We'd appreciate that. It'd be kind of nice. Again, in the last video for Batman Forever, I was supposed to mention the Patreon again. Frank keeps forgetting to tell me.
Hey, did you remember the Patreon?
So you know what? I'm going to do it right now. Here's the deal. If you don't want to see the Patreon stuff, just skip ahead like 30 seconds or something. But here's the deal. I've opened up a Patreon. It's at The Real Brandalorian. There's a few different things we're going to do with it. One of which is going to be a movie club. So every month, I'm going to recommend a movie. And then at the end of that month, I'm going to do a giveaway where I'm going to get something that is related to that movie. One of the first ones I want to do is Tombstone. And I found these whiskey glasses that have quotes from Doc Holliday on them. And then we'll do a drawing. If you're a member, you win that, you get the stuff. Another thing that we're going to do on Patreon is I'm going to start building essentially sort of a content creator course to just, show videos of how I do some of the stuff that I do, get my scripts, record my stuff, and the process that I go through. Because I've had a lot of people asking me how I do it, and I figured, yeah, fucking pay for it, and then I'll show you. So it's I've got that whole process. So if you can, go over to Patreon at The Real Brandalorian. Right now it's free. And then eventually there's going to be the membership tier, and there's going to be content creation and stuff like that over there. And if you have any questions about it, comment below. But here we go. June 17th, 1994. It was the infamous slow speed chase involving the white Bronco as it unfolded on national television, becoming one of the most surreal moments in history. Let me double check my pictures. Got to make sure the next one doesn't. Okay, here we go. Fact or fiction, the O.J. Simpson chase interrupted Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Lan.
Fact.
Frank.
That is a fact, 'cause I was watching the game when they broke in and had the little thing up in the corner still showing the game.
That's a fact. It is. That is a fact. I, as well, was watching the game, and they broke in. And the interesting thing is, the game became the smaller portion of the screen.
Yeah.
It wasn't even picture-in-picture where the chase was down on the bottom part. The chase was the main part of the screen. So they famously cut away from Game 5 as between the Knicks and the Rockets to show the split screen with the Bronco chase. Some viewers were furious by this, while others were just completely glued to it. I was enamored with it. Like, I was flipping around like different channels trying to find different angles, because this was crazy back then. And even sportscaster Bob Costas is one of the many people that got caught off guard during live coverage.
I was the one that was upset. I was a Knicks fan, and I wanted to watch the game. And I'm watching a Bronco. I don't give a damn about OJ in California.
I want to watch my New York Knickerbockers.
I want to watch Knicks.
The Knicks. Here we go.
Take on them Rockets.
Fact or fiction, the Ford Bronco involved in the chase was later sold at auction. Frank.
It's got to be fact, right? They always sell those vehicles.
Lan.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, police auction. Fact.
That is fiction.
No, I'm sorry. The Bronco wasn't sold at auction. It was sold to and preserved by Simpson's former agent, Mike Gilbert, who actually tried to sell it on Pawn Stars. He was asking $1.3 million. They declined, although he did go down to, I believe, $1.25 million. And now the Bronco is a part of an exhibit at the Alcatraz East Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
That agent must have had some gambling debts, because he was really trying to work them over for some money.
Well, he's the one who, the most recent OJ doc on Netflix, which is great, by the way. He's obviously heavily involved in that one because he was close to all of this stuff. I mean, he was OJ's guy. He was his agent. And he was the one, I believe, he tells the story about how when all was said and done and OJ's losing all of his money, and then he has to move out of the big house that he had, which was kind of a the way that Mike Gilbert explained it was kind of like a community house because everybody was welcome to come hang out. And at one point, OJ's just kind of sitting in the backyard and he tells some story about a tree or something like that. And they're kind of having a moment. And then randomly, OJ looks at him and he goes, "You think I did it?" And Mike, he says something to the effect, I think he says like, "Yeah, I think he did." And then OJ makes the comment, if Nicole hadn't shown up at the door with a knife that night, she'd still be alive.
Is that Bonnie and Clyde's car in the back?
I believe so. It's a crime museum, so they got all that cool stuff. All right, next up.
That's kind of cool.
Fact or fiction? OJ had a gun in the Bronco and reportedly considered suicide. Frank.
I'm going to go fact. That sounds familiar.
Lan.
Sure, fact.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
You are correct. OJ had a .357 Magnum and photos of his children in the Bronco and reportedly held the gun to his head during the chase. It was later revealed in court that he was on the verge of suicide and had left a note that sounded like a farewell letter. Next up, fact or fiction? People held up signs supporting OJ as the white Bronco drove by. Lan.
Fact.
Frank.
I don't recall seeing any signs. I'm going to go fiction.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Oh, buddy, it is a fact. There are varying reports on just how many people showed up all along the route, but it was easily thousands, as you can tell by this one picture and this one here. Some people were cheering, some people were booing, and yeah, there were a lot of homemade signs.
We love it, the Jews.
Golly,
got the
man.
cigarette out there.
I'm telling you, like, if this was otherworldly of what went on. I mean, truly, like, if you are under the age of 40, you're really not going to remember this.
This was the first real reality, like, spectacle to happen. It wasn't anywhere in the last 20 years. This was like the first like reality television moment that we ever really had was this right here.
Yeah.
This is basically where it started.
Well, yeah, because then this even kicked off into the actual trial that was being covered. And it was insanity. Which then is the perfect segue into fact or fiction. Over 90 million people watched the chase live. Frank.
Ooh. Can't be 90 million, can it? I'm gonna fiction.
Lan.
Fact. Sure.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
There you go. An estimated 90 to 95 million people watched at least part of the coverage across various networks. The event became one of the most watched live TV moments in American history. Again, I still remember my parents' old house. I was downstairs, like over in the TV room. I was watching the Knicks Rockets, and it came on. Like it was mind blowing.
Look, it's Pat from Saturday Night Live. Standing right there. Yeah.
Oh, the 90s, man. God. Look at that. Next up. Fact or fiction? OJ was supposed to turn himself in that morning, but he fled instead. Lan.
Fact.
Frank.
Yeah, it's fact.
That's a fact. Yeah, Simpson he was scheduled to surrender at 11 a.m. that morning. Instead, he disappeared, triggering the manhunt. LAPD declared him a fugitive. And the bizarre chase didn't begin until hours later when he was spotted in the Bronco.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
Final one. Fact or fiction? The New York Rangers held their Stanley Cup victory parade the same day as the O.J. Simpson car chase. Frank.
That is also a fact.
Lan.
Yeah, we'll say fact. Look at Mark Messier.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Yeah, the Rangers' long-awaited Stanley Cup celebration took place that very morning in New York. It was their first championship parade since 1940, and yet, by that night, all sports headlines had been swallowed up by the Bronco chase. So listen to this. You had Game 5 of the NBA Finals, the New York Rangers Stanley Cup parade. Arnold Palmer was playing his final round of the 1994 U.S. Open, which would be his final U.S. Open. The 1994 World Cup was kicking off. This was the first time that the United States had hosted the event. And over in baseball, Ken Griffey Jr. tied Babe Ruth's record for most home runs before June 30th. And on a side note, Griffey was on pace to hit 70 home runs that season, but it was cut short by the strike.
Did you ever see that 30 for 30 that ESPN did on that day?
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
That
It's
was
amazing.
a good one. Hey, don't forget your Patreon.
Yeah, it's so good. I did the Patreon at the beginning of this one, didn't I? I don't know.
You did.
Go to Patreon. It's at The Real Brandalorian. I forget.